this meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District meeting for Thursday, June 14th. Would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have our Metro Cable announcement. The open session meeting is videotaped for Cablecast on Metro Cable 14. Replay on Saturday, June 16 at 1 p.m. and Sunday, June 17th at 10 p.m. on Channel 14. Webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv. And a DVD copy is also available for checkout from any library branch. The open session meetings are also available for viewing on the district website at www.sacmetrofire.ca.gov. We now have the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within district jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Clerk, do we have any?
No, we don't.
Thank you. We now move to the consent agenda. Chair will entertain a motion to approve consent agenda.
A second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, we'll take a voice vote. Say aye.
Aye.
Any noes, nays, abstentions?
You know, I will abstain. I was not present at that meeting.
And I was going to abstain as well. We still carry, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Excuse me, Chief, I forgot to ask before the initiation of the call to order. Shall we take the closed session item before we get into the action items, or shall we go ahead and proceed according to the posted agenda?
We don't have council present for that, so we can go ahead and proceed with the regular agenda and take that at the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. We now have action items. We have 7 of them for us this evening, and our first one is disclosure of material expenditure, commercial insurance, Special District Risk Management Authority, and we have Chief Wells, and I apologize. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, Directors. Deputy Chief Mark Wells of Administration. I have here tonight with me our insurance broker, Mr. Pete Keller.
Keller, that's right. Welcome, Mr. Keller.
Thank you.
Our first issue tonight will be the commercial insurance. Tonight, it's through the Special District Risk Management Authority, SDRMA. We're looking for a disclosure of material expenditure to purchase this commercial insurance ending fiscal year of 2013. These funds are expended in excess of our formal purchasing policy of $35,000, requiring presentation to the board. The expenditure will be payable to SDRMA for $427,078.88. And basically the background on this is the commercial insurance package incorporates the following areas of coverage: property, automobile, and general liability. And it also provides coverage of risk in several other areas, including employment practices, employment benefits, and management liability. So we've done a cost comparison, or Mr. Keller has, of several different companies: SDRMA, ESIP, BFIS, who declined to bid. Fireman's Fund gave no bid, and Philadelphia Insurance gave no bid. And so SDRMA was our lowest, most responsive bid in this process. And it's the recommendation of Mr. Keller as our representative to work our commercial insurance needs through SDRMA for $427,078.88. So entertain any questions on that?
Questions or comments for Mr. Keller or Chief Wells? All right.
One more note I'd just like to say, it's actually $12,718 less than it was last year. So we're going to take the points for effort.
You use it on the aviation insurance.
Oh, we'll speak with that, yes. Thank you, sir.
It's all insurance. All right, then, Chair will entertain a
So moved.
recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Golden Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
Thank you, and we'll continue with Chief Wells and Mr. Keller. Item number 2, disclosure of material expenditure, aviation liability insurance, Ace Westchester Fire Insurance Company.
Yes, and this, as stated, this expenditure would be to the Ace Westchester Fire Insurance for $81,927. And there's quite a bit of background we need to go into on this. This aviation package requires the coverage for both of our helicopters, and we have that valuation at $1.5 million per hull and a $10 million bodily injury and property damage. The whole valuation increase from the previous year's valuation of 1.2 was due to different improvements and economic impacts benefiting both these helicopters. I'd also like to say that this was done based on a lot of information gathered so that we were truly being insured for what our copters were worth versus another number. So it took more scrutiny to get to this taller number of the 1.5 versus the 1.2 that you've seen in the past. This also includes any pilot approved by the Sacramento Metro Fire Chief's pilot or a designee and covers all uses in connection with the operations of Sac Metro Fire, including mutual aid agreements. Several carriers were contacted during the marketing with responses of 4 firms. Ace Westchester was $81,927, and they are who we are currently with. W. Brown & Associates was $95,600. Star Aviation was $114,028, and then Phoenix Aviation declined to bid. So Ace Westchester was the most responsive bidder. I'd also like to talk just a little bit in terms of a relative comparison. We looked at initially in the cost estimates, this process would have been, if we would have kept the values the same as they were before, it was going to be a $3,000 increase. And we increased the coverage from 1.2 per helicopter to 1.5, and that gave us this new number of the $81,927. So it gives us essentially an increase of $600,000 worth of coverage for this.
$6,000.
Let's see here, I'm going to get to my actual number. Summary sheet here somewhere. $27,164 increase in actual premiums. Do you have any questions about that?
I was just curious, it's $300,000 for both helicopters increase. Is that the whole valuation? Is that correct?
It's $300,000 per ship, $600 total.
Okay, so the increase is $300 each.
Correct.
They're even. There's not a difference between the two.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there any further questions or comments for our speakers? If not, the Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Director Monk.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Directors Golden Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
Okay, we'll move to action item number 4, disclosure of material expenditure, insurance brokerage services, Wells Fargo Insurance Services. Please continue, gentlemen.
I think we're on number 3, aren't we, for excess
Oh.
workers' comp?
Oops, thank you.
I have it in a certain order here, so I want to make sure I didn't miss something.
You didn't miss anything. It
Okay.
was my mistake. Thank you, sir. Item 3, disclosure of material expenditure, excess workers' compensation insurance, Safety National Casualty Corporation.
Yes, again, this is an expenditure that'll exceeds our formal purchasing policy of $35,000, which is requiring presentation to the board. The expenditure will be payable to the Safety National Casualty Corporation in the amount not to exceed $324,384. And this type of coverage provides the district's additional insurance coverage in the event of a catastrophic workers' compensation loss that would occur in excess of our self-insured retention, like a deductible. Several carriers were contacted during our marketing with responses from 6 different firms. They were Safety National, New York Marine in General, Star Insurance, and then we had no bids from Arch Insurance Company, no bid from Midwest Employer Casualty, nor did we get a bid from Ace USA. So based on the loss history, no single workers' compensation claim has exceeded $1 million. So a higher self-insured retention of $3 million was chosen to keep the cost of insurance down. Safety National's quote of $324,384 is an increase of 9%, which from last year, which equates to $27,164 increase from last year. So the fiscal impact of this will be the $324,000, and in our budgeting process, we estimated that there would be an increase of 10% in this area. As it turns out, it was 9%, so we're within our budget.
9% from last year?
Just in this one area, it'd be 9%, yes, for the excess workers' comp. The recommendation would be for the board to authorize the payment not to exceed $324,384 to Safety National for excess workers' compensation insurance.
Chairman, I would move that we approve staff's recommendation.
Moved and seconded. Please call the roll.
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Director Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Now we will move on to item number 4, disclosure of material expenditure, insurance brokerage services, Wells Fargo Insurance Services. Gentlemen?
Okay, and this is obviously for the insurance broker services for $40,000 with Wells Fargo Insurance Services. The expenditure will be payable in the amount of $400,000, and basically the services include risk management, marketing, day-to-day consulting on servicing of insurance claims, and risk engineering services. Did I say 400? I meant 40,000. Thank you. Yeah, I got a little carried away there. $40,000 for that service, and I'd like to also note that's consistent with past years as well. So Mr. Keller has done a great service for us and is charging the same amount.
I would move that we authorize the payment of $40,000 to our Wells Fargo Insurance Services.
First and seconded. Please call the roll.
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Director Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
Thank you, Chief Wilson. Thank you, Mr. Keller.
you.
Appreciate that. All right, we have Assistant Chief Cochran up for item number 5, action item number 5, resolution concerning disposal of surplus firearms. Welcome to the podium, Chief.
Thank you, President Jones, Directors, Chief Inky, Scott Cochran, Assistant Chief. I'm requesting that the board authorize a below-listed firearm as surplus. In addition, offer staff direction to remove the firearm from the district's permanent fixed asset inventory. I think as we all know, we have arson investigators. They've carried a variety of guns over the years. This gun here is one that is outdated and we're going to no longer be using. This rotation has created a surplus of outdated firearms consistent with our current needs. The attached resolution recommends the removal of the following firearm from fixed asset inventory due to standardization.
Any comments or questions from fellow directors?
What are we standardizing to?
This one was a gun that was carried by our former fire marshal that has since retired, so it was a smaller, more of an administrative type of gun. So this was something that our arson investigators in the field will not
Chief,
carry.
don't listen to that. I'm sorry, Chief Cochran. It was too good to pass up there. Okay. Any further comments? Randy, you want?
I'd like to get one of those administrative guns.
The administrator was, okay, well, he's not going to move the recommendation. I will entertain a motion for.
So move.
Second.
All right, moved and seconded. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Directors Monk,
I want one. Aye.
Gould,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Barzali,
Aye.
Scheidegger,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Pearson,
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Director Newcomer absent, motion passes.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to action item number 6, and we will have Mr. Larry Davis presenting. We have a resolution, lease agreement with the United States Department of the Interior, Bureau of Land Management, BLM, for Fire Station 33 at 5148 Main Avenue, Orangevale, California. Welcome to the podium, Mr. Davis.
Very much. Directors, Chief Hinkie, Larry Davis, Chief Development Officer. As you know, we're actively trying to lease and try to generate some revenue out of our underutilized or unutilized real estate property around the district. And I'm happy to report that we've completed a lease with Bureau of Land Management for Station 33. BLM is going to be running a returning veterans job program out of that station. It'll be a training activity. It won't be staffed 24 hours a day, but it will be used for training of hand crews, for BLM hand crews. And in your packet, there's both a copy of the lease agreement and a flyer on regarding that program. So we thought this was a real coup that we were able to both lease this station and bring in a really good program like that, and very compatible use. And we're happy to tell you that the lease agreement is signed and ready to go.
Fantastic. Are questions, comments? All right, we'll start that in and work our way around. Director Monk.
Mr. Davis, I want to offer my congratulations on this effort. You're not only providing opportunities for returning veterans, but helping us out with our surplus stations. Station 33 is an ideal area for that training, with the type of terrain that they will be training on in hand crews and everything. Just an excellent fit for what we have available for them, so congratulations.
Thank you, and I just want to credit where credit's due to Chief Wagner. Our training chief is the one who was coordinating with the BLM training chief, and that's how we got the lead. So I want to give credit where credit's due on that one too.
Good job.
So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, kudos for this. I think it's important we also understand that as the light goes back on in that station, there may be some of the surrounding community members that think that that station's now being opened again, even if it's randomly, and we probably need to do some PR in the community and make someone aware that that's the case, that they are not there to respond in lieu of our response, and also have something there permanent to where when they're not there 24/7, there isn't somebody sitting there expecting that there be a firefighter that's going to come rescue them, something permanent that's out in front of the building to let them know what we're doing there. Has that been considered, and is someone going to be doing that, Chief?
Actually, it has been considered. In fact, in the preliminary discussions of the lease agreement, in the very preliminary stages of leasing, the community out there became actively involved. We had conversations back and forth. I believe I spoke with one of the community representatives from out there. I'll make sure that we circle back around and get that notice out there. But I think it's pretty widespread over the last 6 months that we've been working on this lease, that they were coming and that they weren't going to be able to provide fire suppression to them. We made sure that they knew that, but that the station would have people in it. And I'll make sure we circle back around, just make sure we get the notification out there. Great point. Thank you.
And I was contacted as late as today from BLM wanting to coordinate on a press release.
Yeah, and I almost see a sign out front that says, you know, this is a BLM training facility now, where people don't get the expectation that it's a Metro Fire Department, Fire District piece of property that we're utilizing, and then if something goes not right, we kind of take the heat for that. But it sounds like the Chief's all over it, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, part of the lease addresses that. They will put their own signage on it. It will be signed as a BLM facility.
Good.
This is a quick off note for our viewing public. That's why we have the 911 system, because the station that is closest to your house or to the emergency, they might not be there. They could very well be out on another call. And so please, the 911 system will dispatch the closest available and appropriate piece of rescue emergency response equipment to help solve your problem. So, quick aside. Director Kelly, did you have some comment?
On the HVAC
Yes.
system that's to be replaced, have we forecasted what the costs on that may be? Just the unit, ductwork's in place, everything like that?
It was just the compressor that needed to be, and so we're gonna putting a compressor and a cage, and BLM has asked for permission to put a fence, a security fence around the building, so it'll be more secure. And we coordinated the installation of the air conditioning compressor with their moving in.
Okay.
So,
and then the cleaning out, they want cabinets removed, and I don't know, is it generally not the cleanest space at this time, so we've just got a little bit of work to do before they come in?
Well, there was a lot of discussion about that right up until like they signed the lease, and they were in there before we could turn around and do anything. And they go, forget about it. We'll take care of all the interior stuff. We are doing some electrical. There was some GFI issues that they wanted addressed, and we will take care of that. But we told them once the lease is signed, we're going to get in there and give it a super clean, and they just wanted the keys and they got in. So
great. On the parking issue, and there was some language in there about they'd have the ability on an availability basis to park cars at other stations. What is that? I wasn't sure what that was about.
That's not familiar.
Okay.
And that may be my error. It's in the lease agreement?
It's under item 8. The tenant may park in the existing parking lot, and if more parking is desired at other existing Metro Fire locations, an arrangement can be sought on a case-by-case basis depending on availability of space. I wasn't sure what they're aiming at.
Good evening, everyone. Deputy Chief Dwayne Aaron. That refers to their deployment, if they should get deployed on the federal side. They wanted to know if it was okay if they could take their personal vehicles to a secured fenced fire station, which the closest is Station 32. We said no problem.
Okay.
You can move all your personal vehicles over there, park behind the gate, and then go on your deployment.
Okay, thanks. Figured it was something easy like that.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple comments. I think 33 is in my division, and the decision to close was made before I came on, but I have not heard any negative comments in terms of the continuation level of service, which is really a credit to our department. And given the bleak fiscal condition that we continue to have, I think this is good use of the property. Again, it's good business to do this. I particularly like the fact that we're benefiting returning veterans. The other thing I want to add is that I like the idea of not relinquishing totally the property, so that the option is there. Fiscal times turn around, things look brighter, and we decide that we want to return the use of Station 33 to our department. We can do that. So I think it's a good decision. I appreciate your work. Thank you.
Director Clark, do you have comments?
It's all been said.
All right, sir. Director Pearson, do you have any comments? All right.
If I could have another bite at the apple. The lease expires in March of 2012, or 13, excuse me. I think it was a typo maybe. But is it only projected to be a year-long program?
It's a one-year lease, and that was 2 renews, though, right? Yeah, it has 2 renewal options, and we built in rent escalation.
I wasn't sure how long they intended. I was more interested in understanding how long they may operate the program, providing opportunities for training on the returning vets.
Yeah, it was. They planned to be there for a while, and their projections are, and their internal planning is for a long program. But budgetarily, with the federal government, they like the year-to-year leases, and
gotcha.
It was part of that process and their process to go with the year-to-year lease.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Very informative questions. Thank you. We're done with our comments and questions. Chair will entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
And first and seconded, please call the roll.
Directors Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Director Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. All right, we'll move to our last action item, number 7, resolution, taping of closed sessions of board directors. We have General Counsel Lavra as the lead on this. Thank you.
Thank you, President Jones. President Jones, members of the board, John Lavra, General Counsel. I've been asked to give an analysis and report and recommendation regarding the taping of the closed session hearings that are held by this board. As set forth in the report, the current policy of the board, pursuant to the policies and procedures that were enacted by this board in 2001, directed the clerk of the board to audio tape the sessions, the closed sessions of the board. The California Government Code that deals with the issue of whether or not taping is required and the confidentiality of taping in minute books makes it a discretionary decision of the board as to whether or not those sessions should be taped. The regular practice of most public entities that I am aware of and have worked with or worked for in this area uniformly do not tape their closed sessions. I believe there's a number of reasons for those for that decision or those decisions that are set out in my report. Those include the one of the basic reasons that when a tape machine is going, members may be, or persons who are speaking in closed session may be reluctant to freely express their ideas and thoughts and analysis. There are issues with subpoenas of the tapes and requests for production of documents of the tapes in litigation, or Public Record Act request for the tapes. If there's no taping happening, then there's no problem in responding to subpoenas or requests. You just say that the tape does no longer exist. Like I said, all of the other public entities and agencies in this region do not tape. And the other reason that I have noted is that it alleviates the need to maintain the tapes, store the tapes, catalog the tapes, check out the tapes, and maintain the tapes for the business of the district. So it's a discretionary issue under the law. The Brown Act under the Government Code makes it discretionary, and California case law that has interpreted that section makes the taping of closed sessions a discretionary decision of the board. It's an entirely discretionary decision here for you tonight as to whether or not you want to consider amending your policies and procedures to no longer require a taping of the closed sessions. That's my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions of any of the members on that issue.
Rosali?
The first question that comes to mind, this has been a concern of mine since I got here, but if we elect to no longer record this keeping of the minutes, does this, first of all, create an additional burden on staff to maintain those? It would seem like it might. And what level of detail is necessary in that?
In maintaining a minute book?
Right.
Well, the keeping of a minute book is discretionary also. The issue is to what extent do you have to document what is being said and acted upon in the session. You either can do that by way of a minute book or an audio tape. The code says you don't have to do either. So if you decide not to audio tape, you can also decide not to have a minute book. And the requirements of the act are met because you're properly agendizing what's going to be discussed. When you come in closed session, the Brown Act sets forth the requirements of how one is to report out in public session about what has been discussed and what can be disclosed, what action was taken, if any, and if action was taken, a count of the votes of what occurred in that closed session. So under the law, by having that process in place, you're meeting the requirements of disclosure under the Brown Act. Getting back to the question of the minute book, if you elect to have a minute book, it really is no more than what is being agendized and reported on after the closed session.
So if
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, well, if I understand, Counsel, then the minute book and the tape are both optional. Without them, we will maintain the standards of the law, so we'll be compliant.
Yes.
Okay. Is there any upside to keeping the tape?
I mean, I don't really see an upside to it, but I mean, it's there just to memorialize what has been said. If there ever needs to be, if anyone ever wants to go back and look at exactly a position that was taken or a vote that was taken, it's there to do that. I don't really see a particular upside to it because what's discussed in closed session is confidential. It's not for public disclosure. And like I said, if things are agendized, reported out, votes reported, this full disclosure is made under the law.
Well, thank you for that, because the upside of this has always eluded me. The downside has been evident since day one. So thank you.
Okay.
All right. Director Pearson?
You mentioned in your report nobody records. Do the jurisdictions that don't record, do they do the minute book?
I'm not 100% sure of that. Most do, that I am actually aware of, do not.
So they just don't do anything other than report out like they should?
Yes.
Thank you.
Director Kelly?
I'm hard pressed in the time that I've served on this board to remember a time other than once when one of the board members wanted to go back and review closed session minutes for some reason. I think we're all of sound mind and faculty and able to remember what takes place in the room while we're in there. If you can't remember it 6 months later, it probably wasn't that important to begin with. So, but when was the last time somebody came to you and wanted to review minutes? I'm addressing the board clerk at this time. When was the last time somebody came to you and wanted to review closed session recordings to refresh their memory? Has it been longer than 2 years?
Actually, it has never happened. The discussion has occurred, but it's never been done.
Okay. Thank you.
Director Gould?
Chair, it sounds to me like then if it's the pleasure of this board that we do away with the audio, that it makes really very little sense to then keep a minute book, and that we're still compliant according to what council has said, and that we can move forward. So I'd amend even the proposal tonight that if we're going to do away with the audio, that we just do away with the minute book as well, and that we still comply with the law. It seems kind of weird for me to pick which one of those two that we really don't need. Let's just do away with them because we don't need them.
I take that as a motion, Director
Sure.
Gould? I'll second that. All right, thank you. I would like to input my comment. I mean, my lord, this is, we're complying with the spirit of the law as well as the letter of the law, and this is a huge savings in staff time and cost to the district. It's really big savings for, thank you, Madam Clerk, for nothing, for something that we've never used. I think it's part of our efficiencies that we're trying to garner here within the district. Against everything, it's rather small, but it's another efficiency that we can achieve. Please call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Do we get a second, Madam Chair?
Yes.
So we're voting on the proposal with the
Abolishing
amendment
both, yeah.
of no minutes.
We're
Okay.
going to abolish both systems, right?
Roll call. Directors Monk.
Aye.
Gould.
Aye.
Kelly.
Aye.
Barzali.
Aye.
Scheidegger.
Aye.
Clark.
Aye.
Pearson.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Director Newcomer absent. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. I have no presentation, there are no presentation items listed here on the agenda. Have there been any last-minute additions, Chief?
I would just say under the presentation, I do have one. Retired Captain Jim Doucette, who's in charge of the Burn Institute, wanted to present this plaque to the Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District. The Firefighters Burn Institute expresses our deepest appreciation for your commitment to improving burn care and recovering programs for firefighters in our communities in 2012. That's because of the great outpouring of support from Metro Fire. I'd also like to note that I got one for winning the most money in the Chiefs boot, which Metro has continued to hold on to for quite some time. But it's great. The Burn Institute does a great number of things for children, and I'll be talking about that here shortly in my report.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to President's report. I would like to say that I did attend the Burn Institute fundraiser for Shriners, the gala that was held last Saturday, I believe, and I'm sure that's part of that plaque. I'm hoping it is. A great turnout to help support burn survivors, burn victims, and Metro was there, and great time was had by all. It's so encouraging to see people from really so many departments, our district, the medical community, and our community at large to support the Burn Institute. Terrific things are done, terrific things. So I'm sure Chief can wax loquaciously further on it during his report. And the other item I have is to just let people know, as an individual, I did speak in front of the Board of Sacramento County Board of Supervisors in support of adding additional park rangers to the park budget because I feel that any addition to public safety not only helps law enforcement, but can also help the district in terms of reduction, community risk reduction. And that we're saying that I said it a little lightheartedly, but I truly believe if we have more rangers out there, we're going to have less illegal camping, illegal fires. They can keep a handle on disorderly conduct. All these result in additional calls to our district. So I felt it was important to point out the benefit to all public safety departments and districts to increase the ranger staff. And as of now, our county supervisors have increased it by 2 positions, and I'm very grateful for that. All right, that concludes my President's report.
Fire Chief's report. President Jones, Board of Directors. First, I'd like to extend the condolences to the Greason family on the passing of retired Fire Captain Mike Greason. Services are pending for that. He passed over the last couple days after a long and tough battle. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to him. On a little bit of a lighter note, but still could have been tragic, our political affairs officer, Rusty Dupre, was involved in a motorcycle accident, shattered some ribs, broken collarbone. Looks like he was fighting Mike Tyson when he was in his prime. His pride is hurt, but he's going to be okay. And I can announce the motorcycle's for sale. I think he's decided he's not going to do that anymore. And we're just glad that he's going to be okay. And his advice to everybody is don't try to swerve for gray squirrels. On the 29th, we will have our budget meeting. Command staff, labor, and division managers will be here to give you the presentation on the budget that the Finance Committee heard tonight. And I think for the first time we will see a budget packet put together much like major municipalities do, where it will have a lot of detail about what those divisions do, what they provide the community, and what the additions or deletions thereof are going to be in the budget for that year. So I'm really looking forward to that. Our finance division has just done a tremendous job on that, and all staff. And 522, you know, they have really stepped up to the plate in the budgeting process. We invite them to bring their professional people. They have accountants and professionals in that to actually help sit in and participate in that, so that there's a trust level there about what the numbers are and where we're going. And the person that they have, Bridget, actually had some really good pointers. Comes out of municipal finance and worked really well with Ron and staff and that. And so it was a collaborative approach that I think best serves the citizens especially from the standpoint that the 522 members have taken huge concessions voluntarily in the middle of their contract, and they need to know and need to trust that we are operating prudently with those savings and serving the citizens. Staff also attended the Sacramento Regional Conservation Corps breakfast. I can tell you that Ray Iverson and Chris Holbrook are working with the Sacramento Regional Conservation Corps. We are putting together grant applications for hazard mitigation reduction, and talked about the utilization of our 2 crew buses that we have that have Sac Metro. They're painted, they're ready to go. They were surplus. We had them fixed up, and working with them to help with hazard reduction throughout the district so that young men and women who have a leg down can get a leg up in working and having a pathway, and at the same time derive some revenue for themselves and their families, and some valuable work experience, and benefit the district as far as reducing the hazards. I also sat on the 5th with the what they call the Gang of Five approval authority for grants, which is the elected sheriff, police chief from Sacramento, fire chief from Sacramento, and myself, and the doctor in charge of public health, and we did our preliminary cut on dispensing the money. The SHISCAP money, as Larry Davis will tell you, has gone from millions to about 1.4, and 50% of that is tied up in the RTAC out at Building 600. But we did as much as we could, and some of the things that we used to do, we'll be talking about how we're going to do those differently. I also went and attended on the 6th Fire Ops 101. The California Professional Firefighters with the Sacramento Fire Chiefs put on a demonstration with the burn trailer that we got from a grant for legislators. It's the first time in history that something with fire was allowed, flame, on the Capitol grounds. It took years, and we thank the CHP for allowing us to do that. Daryl Steinberg from our area was in there and went through it, as well as a lot of other officials. I think it was a great event to kind of teach them about what we do, and we think that this will be an annual event moving forward. Dealt with the League of Cities monthly conference call. We attended the Sacramento Metro Chamber 17th Annual State of the Region Forum, which really was talking about where we're headed in the future in healthcare and what the big issues are as far as driving people here to our region, and what the job ratios are about as far as our tie-in with the healthcare and the community and the hospitals and the research and all that type of stuff, and what we need to do to improve our own economy and our own standing. I thought it was very informative. On the 9th, I also attended the first annual Firefighters Burn Institute Gala. I know that Director Gould, Director Kelly, Director Scheidegger were there, and President Jones, and it was an absolutely terrific event, and I think it will probably have 2 to 3 times the amount of people next year. It was the first annual that they had ever done, and boy, was it set up nice next to the Shriners with the fenced-in grass area, and a good time was had by all. And yes. The correct name of the affair was Tropical Affair. Tropical Affair. Yes, I read what I must have told my staff to put down. But it benefited the Tropical Affair, benefited the Burn Institute, which just does a great amount for the UC Davis Burn Center and that, and is just tremendous. On Monday, I met with Secretary of CalEMA, the new secretary appointed by the governor, Mark Gilarducci, with Larry Davis and I. We met with him and his staff for about an hour and 40 minutes. I had an extremely productive conversation in regards to the mutual projects simulator system, as well as the Zinfandel project for USAR, and are looking forward to just a tremendous future relationship and working relationship with the secretary and his staff. Yesterday we had the Rancho Cordova 2x2 meeting that went very well. Out of that came the Director Orzali's issue and his idea that has blossomed, and I'm sure he can talk about it more, but we rolled out the Sacramento Metropolitan Public Safety Foundation. Is that the correct name? And it's been created as a nonprofit. The board of directors have been established, which Director Randy Orzali is the chairman. Council member from Rancho Cordova, Linda Budge, is the vice chair, and the secretary. And Rusty Dupre is the treasurer / CEO. At least that's what I have here. And that is to develop a nonprofit a status to raise funds for things such as burn camp, for different things throughout the region. It is not controlled by Sacramento Fire. I want to make that known. Sacramento helped stand up $1,000 for attorney's fees, I think, to get the incorporation written. But it's going to be an independent thing that's going to cover and help out a lot of different people as it continues to grow. I didn't know if you wanted to comment on that or wait. Okay.
With one exception, Rusty is also the rodent protection officer for the Sacramento Public Safety Foundation.
And he's good at it.
Wanting a zinger.
He protects them. Upcoming, I'm sure he's probably watching this, but I can't think of a better guy. Upcoming meetings and events. I have the League of Cities Public Safety Policy Committee meeting. You're going to see that fireworks is a big issue in the Capitol. I will tell you that there's legislation to approve safe and sane fireworks between December 25th and January 1 for sale. A lot of discussion with Cal Chiefs with the League of Cities. I can tell you our position on this is that we have legal fireworks in Sacramento County. It is a benefit to the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, you name all these different fundraising groups. It's how they raise their money. And safe and sane really isn't the problem that we've experienced. Part of this legislation will allocate money for us to track the difference between safe and sane and legal fireworks, and it will be paid for by the fireworks industry itself. It's my belief as a fire chief, and I think I have quite a few chiefs out there that finally have come to this. We can just say we're against it because we're against it like we always have, or we can move into the future and deal with what is. And I think it was time to take a moderated approach. I had Ray Iverson testify in favor of the bill, and it's working its way through, and I'll be dealing with that issue tomorrow with the League of Cities. There are a lot of checks and balances in there to make sure that there's tracking, hazardous materials disposal. We were advised that as we confiscated illegal fireworks, it's gotten so complicated. They told us we weren't even authorized to carry them on our engines back to the station and then dispose of them. I'm like, well, what are you supposed to do with them? So there's a lot of different issues that need to be dealt with. But the issue with fireworks is illegal fireworks, and it's not coming from California. It's coming from the states of Nevada and Wyoming, where they have those legal fireworks, and then they get transported into California. So we're going to have to be working with our stakeholder partners in the other states, but that is a huge issue that is before us. I will be speaking at the Fireworks Task Force press conference, which is the annual press conference we give before the 4th of July season, about safe and sane fireworks and safety. Also, save the date, 12-1 graduation. Somebody will tell me what that date is, because it's not on here. I'll get back to you on that.
Isn't it the 29th?
Thank you. It's the 29th of this month. Is that correct? Okay. And remember, Fire Camp this year will be held July 10th through the 13th at Station 21. Questions can be referred to Brenda Briggs or Jason Winter. They have done just a phenomenal job on Fire Camp, and I got to tell you, we've hired a slug of new employees over the last year, and amazingly, I heard that we had like a 100% contribution from them on assisting with Fire Camp. I don't know, probably because the fire chief thought it was a really good idea to keep your job. But really what it's about is taking our new people, and that goes to the single role paramedic EMT program, taking our young people and teaching them about giving back to the community from day one and not giving it up for the 30 years, 35 years that they work here. Fire Camp is just tremendous. Brenda Briggs and Jason do just a tremendous job. And I urge everybody to go out there and see it. Unfortunately, my vacation was scheduled for that by my other half, and so I won't be here for Fire Camp, but I won't make that same mistake next year. New hires, none to report. Reinstatement, we did reinstate a firefighter, James Pritchard. And he had gone to where the grass was greener and then decided he wanted to come back. And he was a high-quality guy, so we reinstated him. Retirements, June 1st, firefighter Joseph Kitzero, 24 years. Office tech Elise Ladd, 5 years. Captain Frank Miranda, 25 years. Frank was an anchor tenant on the executive board of 522. And we wish him well. And engineer Anthony Descalso, 23 years. I'm almost done. Also, we had promotions on June 5th of the following engineers to the rank of engineer: Aaron Montgomery, Kyle Sr., Thomas Nikolewski, Jonathan Backley, Zach Taylor, Brian DePertis, Patrick Anderson, Jeffrey Inserti, Chad Fortin, Michael Martin, Ryan Ross, and John Kendrick. And there's only one left on the list. That's Adam Spiva. And that'll probably happen in the next month or two. So the engineer's test is an extremely tough exam. Last time we only had 6 or 7 pass it. This time we had 13. There just happened to be 12 openings right away. So we'll be retesting for engineer here shortly. We'd like to congratulate, we have a battalion chief's eligibility list. We had 9 successfully complete the exam. And you can read that bulletin on the web. Congratulations to them. And the last 2 notes is firefighter paramedic final filing date was June 1st. We had over 600 applicants will take the written exam on the 25th. And we have the single role EMT and single role paramedic final filing date of June 29th by 5 p.m. So anybody that's watching out there that wants to be in the single role EMT and single role paramedic program, the final filing date is June 29th at 5 p.m. And they can get on the website, Sacramento website, Metro Fire, and look up the particulars on that. And with that, that concludes my report for this evening. Thank you. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions or comments? All right. We'll move on to General Counsel's report. I'm sorry, what? Oh, the Ops Chief.
Directors,
Thanks.
Madam Chair, Chief Hinkie. My name is Darren Taylor. I'm an Assistant Chief of Operations. I'm filling in for Deputy Chief Holbrook during his absence to provide you with the operations report. Since our last meeting in the EMS call volume, Metro Fire had 2,750 dispatches. We transported 73% of the time. AMR had 908 dispatches and transported 71% of the time. Fire responses were high. We had 15 working structure fires. Since our last meeting, we did have one significant fire in the Sunrise area, in the Battalion 13 area, in an apartment complex. The crews did a fabulous job there. The fire was way ahead of them. I'm sure a lot of you saw the photos that were provided by Channel 3. Tomorrow, the National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch, so we'd like to ask our community to just be very cautious tomorrow and Saturday in their outdoor activities, especially anything that could cause a spark or something to get into the grass. We are going to upstaff our department. We'll probably have the dozer back in service Saturday morning by 0800 in the morning when we have a graduation of the person that's in a heavy operating class, firefighter Gibney. Copter 2 will actually also be staffed during Friday and Saturday during the red flag warnings. Copter 1 also, if you might have seen in the newspaper on June 9th, participated in a reverse 911 large-scale emergency in the El Dorado Hills area. They did a fabulous job for us. They were there from the very beginning to the very end and played actually a major role in the communication to the public and for the fire activities during the event. So the report back from Captain Lozano is the drill was a major success and that we assisted them in their drill. If you have no further questions, yes, sir. Director.
Reverse 911. What
Yes,
is
sir.
that?
El Dorado Hills Fire Department and their community enacted their reverse 911. So the 911 system started to call back to the residents to advise them of the drill that they were having a fire come up the hillside and to evacuate their homes. And Metro Fire's Copter 1 participated in also announcing that over their loudspeaker and started operating as they were doing fire drops.
Thank you.
Further questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Taylor. All right, now we'll move to General Counsel's
Yes,
report.
no report.
Thank you. Metro Fire District Firefighters 522 report. Welcome to the
Evening,
podium,
Directors,
Kevin Hickman.
President Jones, Chief Hinkie, and General Counsel Jeff Hickman, Local 522, here for Ty Bailey, who's out of town, the Vice President. Pretty much everything I was going to talk about is once again covered by Chief Hinkie. Would like to reiterate the gratitude on the behalf of the Burn Center, the great participation from the directors that were there, and the fire chief and others that made it. I wasn't able to make it, but it was a success. We look forward to continued support, and it's a wonderful thing. As far as the fire ops program down at the Capitol, CPF 52, in conjunction with CPF 522 was the primary local that set that up. And so firefighters from Metro Fire, City Fire, and Consumnes Fire were the primary ones running it. And it was a great thing to be involved in. Hopefully it will help all of us in the years to come at the legislative level. Hopefully we can work more on that. Other than that, congratulations also to the engineers of our local that have got promoted, and the success of the people that made it onto the battalion chiefs list. I know that's a very tough process, which the locals involved in throughout, and we appreciate all the hard work that our members do for that. I'd like to say again the support that Metro Fire gave to deceased engineer Porter from Sac City. I know that was mentioned last week, but we really appreciate all the help from the local side and the fellow firefighters that we were able to provide assistance to Sac City in their time of need. And also just a personal sadness for retired Captain Mike Greason. He was a wonderful man. Known him for a few years when I first got hired, and just an absolute fireman's fireman, and just a great captain. And there wasn't a soul out there that didn't appreciate him or like him. So as things unfold there, I look forward to the great outpouring of support that we're going to get from Metro Fire. So I'll entertain any questions if anybody has any, and other than that, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. We appreciate your comments. Moving on to committee and delegate reports. Here for executive committee, we do need to hold one for appointment to the Sacramento Regional Fire EMS Communications Center JPA Governing Board. And I would, if it doesn't conflict too much with the policy meeting, and if at least two of the three of us on the executive committee could meet perhaps at 5:45 or 5:50 just before our next board meeting. Is that acceptable to policy group as well as the individual two?
You'd be referring to the 28th of the month?
Our next board meeting, yes.
On the 28th.
Okay.
There's a possibility I won't be here.
Okay. Director Kelly, will you be here?
I will.
Okay, that'll be two.
My
That'll be
intentions
enough.
at this time are to be here.
And mine as well. So we'll do the effort, and two should suffice. All right. That concludes report for the executive committee. Communications Center JPA. Short timer Aaron, welcome to the podium.
Thank you, Madam. Good evening, everyone. Again, Dwayne Aaron, Deputy Chief. Nothing much new to report on the JPA board. Labor negotiations are still going on, and the hiring process for the center manager position is ongoing as well. There is a correction to the notes. I didn't get the news to our board clerk that the regular meeting has been moved up a week. So it'll be this coming Tuesday, the 19th, same time, same place. But instead of the 26th, it'll be this Tuesday, the 19th. And here for any questions.
We'll take up the social calendar later. Thank you very much, Chief. We appreciate your efforts on that. Thank you. California Fire and Rescue Training, JPA, Director Kelly.
Yes, the Fire Rescue Training JPA is scheduled to meet on Wednesday next week, the 20th, at the EMA Media Room.
All right. Thank you very much. Finance Committee, Director Monk.
Finance Committee met this evening. Just to keep it short, we had the preliminary budget presented for us this evening. Many things are included in it. They're doing an excellent job in the finance group. We appreciate everything. There are many things that are still up in the air that are big dollar items that we're waiting on additional information to come back on. A lot of that will come up in the next meeting when the preliminary budget's presented to the full board. But I just wanted to say that it appears we're doing everything we can to hold the line on the expenses that we're doing in light of all of these other factors that are being thrown at us as well. Those of you that read the paper today on the PERS deal, it's more good news, 9.5% potential increase there. So we're with the as much attention as we can do to the crystal ball as we can and planning ahead. They've included some in there, but not covering the whole thing. So we're looking at the preliminary budget to see where we're going to be able to go from there. We'll get more information at the next meeting for everybody. And that's all I have for now. Keep doing good work. Thank you.
Policy Committee, Director Orzali.
Policy Committee is scheduled to meet on June 28th. And as I noted earlier, there's a potential that I will not be attending.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to board member questions and comments. Director Pearson, would you please begin?
Sure. I just wanted to thank Sacramento and the board for supporting the veterans and renting out the station there. There's having been a father of 3 veterans and a daughter-in-law also, it's tough for them when they come back and there's no jobs available for them, and none of us would have what we have if it wasn't for our veterans. So I wholeheartedly support anything that we can do for our returning veterans. And then also along that note with the new, I guess, hand crews is what one word you'd call them, giving that opportunity for young kids in the community that, again, jobs are hard to come by, and if they're willing to work. I've seen those CCC crews, and they do some marvelous work, and it's not fun work. You know, they're the ones filling the sandbags and the floods, doing stuff like that. It's hard work, and if they, you know, if I was an employer and I had a young person come to me that was part of a CCC crew, I would definitely give them a second look because I know that they know how to work. So I just wanted to thank our department and the board for supporting that. Thank you. That's it.
Thank you, Director Pearson. Director Clark?
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Director Scheidegger?
Nope.
Just one quick area. I'm always interested in the efforts of this department to sustain our highest level of service possible by conducting business or conducting our business in a business-like manner. Tonight at the Finance Committee, I found that the funds in terms of grant success comparison was given. I don't know that many of you realize that in 4 years ago, 07, 08, we had 90,000 in grants. In 11, 12, it's going to be 7.6 million. That's just almost incomparable. And it shows a tremendous resolve and a tremendous amount of success on the part of the staff of this agency and successfully providing our service. I thank you for doing that to Larry and the rest of the people that are doing it. And it's a real eye-opener in terms of our community's success and being able to get the service that we have. Thank you.
Director Monk, do you have any comments, please?
I want to piggyback on what Director Scheidegger said. At our preliminary budget that we were given at the Finance Committee, there are other things that came out too. One of the impressive things that this staff is doing is looking outside the box. We have to do things that we're doing in the best, most economical way that we can and look at areas where we can continue to provide the services to our community. The efforts that the staff has made, the medic fees, and being able to capture retroactive fees and things associated with that amounts to about $6.7 additional million that will come into this district to be able to help on our various programs. I think the figure was given out 7.2 overall, $7.2 million additional funding that we're able to capture, that had they not taken the little bit of effort to do that, and a big effort on the part of finance, I guess, and to be able to capture these things, we'd be in a much different position. So my hat's off to every one of the staff that's worked on this, be able to look outside the box and be able to capture and present these. Without the effort, we wouldn't have it. So I appreciate everything that they're doing. Not only the medic fees, but now we're heading into the fire prevention, moving into the community risk program. We're going to be looking at the same type of effort there, and we're headed in the right direction. And it's a kudo to the staff, the chief, for being able to provide that direction and keeping us going in areas where we're struggling for finances. So appreciate all the effort.
Thank you. Director Gould?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Appreciate it. I want to publicly offer my condolences to the family of Bill. He's a great man and dearly missed by all. And thanks to the local for supporting and participating in that. And I want to publicly recognize a couple of whom I do not know their names, but came from Idaho. The story that I heard about this couple that drove from Idaho was specialized equipment that accelerated the finding of Bill is just phenomenal that this couple would do that. And then when they were asked, what could we do for them, they refused. They didn't want anything. And it just kind of gets back to the heart of Americans, that they see a challenge, and this couple drove from Idaho to Northern California, and on their own dime basically found a lost firefighter. And I can guarantee you that that makes a huge difference for a family. The longer that goes, the worse it gets. And kudos to whoever they are. And it really, I think, is an example of what Americans do. Welcome back, Tim. It's good to see you back, and we look forward to having you on the cruise all the time. And then finally, it is burn camp or a camp again, and it sounds like now we have a way to get your money. So if you're a big corporation in this community and you want to be involved in something that's absolutely fantastic, we've got a lot of young people that can't go to camp because they don't have that fund. This sounds like a great opportunity to give Mr. Orzali millions of dollars and make him have to figure out a way to find the young people that can go to burn camp or to the camp, fire camp. So what a great thing, and kudos to you, Randy, for setting that up. It's been a long time coming. And then thanks to the men and women who get up every day and go out and make this organization proud by going on those basic calls of people that need help. And they do it thousands of times a month and never get any kudos, but thank you for doing that at 2 and 3 and 4 in the morning, and no one cares and no one knows. We know, we see it, and we appreciate it every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Gould. Director Orzali?
Yes, thank you. Several things. First of all, Chief, I appreciate your mentioning the formation of the Sac Metro Public Safety Foundation. I'm very pleased to be involved in this. And the fundamental idea is to provide a consistent way to fund special projects like fire camp. I want to thank Larry Davis, although I'm sick to death of thanking Larry Davis. And I want to thank Rusty Dupre. I also wanted Rusty to know that I just received an email from the Friends of the Acorn, who apparently are filing a lawsuit against him for dodging the squirrel. I want to thank Linda Budge for coming on board in this in the formative stages of the Sac Metro Public Safety Foundation. I think Linda's going to make a huge addition to us. I also want to thank Wilkie Fleury for their role in providing the services of Trevor Stapleton, who has served as legal counsel for this. So this is a great endeavor, and it's been a long time coming, and I'm honored to be involved in it. Next, I want to thank John Lavra, counsel for SAC, for Metro Fire. This initiative has been something that has bothered me since I got here. I really appreciate your follow-through for it. I think it frees up time. It allows us to move forward, and I just want you to know I appreciate the effort. AC Cockrum, I want you to know how much I appreciate the effort of the new website. We've got a website that actually works. It's an amazing phenomenon. You can go to the website and find stuff, and I know that he and his staff have put in a lot of time on it, and I really do appreciate it. Next, and this was probably certainly the high point of today, was our meeting. The chief and I met with the editorial board for the Sacramento Bee, and I sincerely appreciate them taking the time to meet with us. This was a candid conversation. It wasn't an easy conversation, but I think that we made huge progress in helping them understand the difference between then and now. And they were very direct in their concerns, and I think we were very direct in our responses to them. So they didn't have to take the meeting, and they candidly told us that they resisted it because of their previous perceptions, but I think that a lot of that got cleared up. And Chief, I thought you were brilliant in there today. Thank you.
Director Kelly?
I wanted to just say that, you know, you've heard it from, in a variety of ways from different directors tonight. And I think everybody in the room probably deserves a hand for the work that you do every day and the way you just bring it. And certainly it was recounted by several of us on the board this evening. I'd like to offer my condolences to the Greason family. I had a great time at the Tropical Affair, and it shows that those people that bring it every day know how to have a good time too. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Kelly. I would like to offer my condolences to the Porter and Gearson family. I worked many shifts with Bill Porter, and I was, as everyone was, extremely shocked and saddened to hear of his passing. I wish his family the best, and I will always remember him as the stand-up value man who showed us all how to do hard work and do it the right way. So condolences to both those families. I would like to quickly recap some of this stuff again with the Finance Committee, just to give you an idea of the day-to-day challenges that happen within this district and the balancing act that has to happen. 3 quick items. One is that we are projecting a 4% drop in property taxes on our upcoming budget. That's the projection we're dealing with. Another 4% drop. We have that on the good side. We have a 3% increase up to 12% for employee pension contributions. That's a huge effort, a huge lift, as the chief likes to say, a huge lift on the part of our employees. That's on the positive side. And then today, from 7 to 9.5%, 2.5% increase in CalPERS medical health care costs. So those are, when you're dealing with millions of dollars, those percentages are huge. And kudos to CFO McFarland and the chief and everyone in this district for pulling together to help balance out these incredible swings that we have been experiencing for approximately the last 4 years. So kudos to all of our staff on that. And lastly, I would like to say thank you to the chief for the support for that fireworks program. This isn't the first time that I have said that I support safe and sane fireworks, because they do such a terrific, a lot of reasons. 1, they're fun. 2, they're safe. 3, they're probably the only fundraising that so many of our scout programs, sports programs, theater, this is the only way they can raise their revenue. And if we can assist in a safe and sane way, if we can assist increasing these revenues for our local communities, it's huge. It's huge. I was as I mentioned before, I was a founding member of the Sacramento County Fireworks Safety Task Force. And within my recollection, in 95, 97, of hundreds of fires and injuries that were sustained, they were from illegal fireworks. And there was one, I repeat, one from Safe and Sane. And guess what, folks? That was unattended children. That was the cause of that fire, not the Safe and Sane fireworks, unattended children. So I have a high degree of confidence in the Safe and Sane fireworks industry. I have a high degree of confidence in our community groups to professionally and conscientiously continue this program. So thank you for your support on that, Chief. All right, our next board meeting is scheduled for June 28th at the Rancho Cordova City Hall, and thank you again to the City of Rancho Cordova for allowing us to meet here. We appreciate the professional courtesy. This meeting is now adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry.
We still session. We're adjourned to closed session.
Oh, I thought you said we didn't have any.
No, it's at the end.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, I hereby reopen the meeting, and we will adjourn to closed session.